Hey guys, welcome back to Sarcastic Remarks, and alongside Chris, my name is Ryan. We are the official Dallas Stars podcast of THPN. We are very sarcastic and very remarky, and sometimes yelly. Thank you to our sponsors, Game Time and DraftKings, for being our sponsors. That promo code is THPN. Or if you're the Dallas Stars, maybe you can use the promo code PP for power play goals in order to possibly get some goals on the power play.
You said PP.
Anyways, yeah, I know. I'm trying to make myself feel better. Anyways, Chris, tell me about the game tonight. What you got for me?
Does anyone need to be told about the game tonight? I mean, you, you kind of heard it from the players and the coach afterwards. What happened in the game tonight is Igor Shesterkin, and the power play was horrible. I mean, the power play's been bad all year, but this is the worst it's ever been. I didn't know it could get worse, and it did. It's insane.
I'm officially over the Stars power play. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm not trying to be like I told you so in the last game or like in games past where I've been like you should be worried. You should be worried if you're a Dallas Stars fan right now. I mean, not only do you not score on any of your power plays, one of them, which is a 5-minute major on your best player, you can't even get enough chutzpah to go and get a goal for your best player. He's not even able to play on the power play for those 5 minutes. And not only that, you go -1 on your power play, and the power play loses you the game. It's one thing to not get any power play goals. It's another thing to allow shorthanded goals. It is a third thing, and it is a danging thing. Sorry, I'm not going to say the word. When you freaking can't get any momentum and change the momentum of the game, Chris. I'm sorry. I don't care if people are sick. I don't care if you are on a rough patch. When you have 7 power plays, it is completely 100% unacceptable as a professional hockey athlete getting paid millions of dollars to not score on the power play. That's where I'm at. I'm sorry. I feel really bad for the guys. I do. I feel bad that they're feeling sick. I feel bad that they're not able to convert on their opportunities. But I don't care. You have 7 opportunities. Your best player gets hurt on a really bad check, and you can't get enough energy up for him to go and score a freaking goal to tie the game. You should have been able to go in and take the lead with that power play. You should have. This is a team, the Rangers, who have won. Coming in tonight, they were 1-5. They had won 1 game out of 6. Out of the last couple of games here, out of the last 14, they had won 3 of their last 14 games. Completely 100% unacceptable the performance tonight by the power play. And I know people are going to come after Steve Spott, and you know what? He deserves the criticism for it. He absolutely 100% does, because it showed up in the playoffs the last couple of years, and it's showing up again right now. However, I will say it again: your best players have to be your best players. I mean, James scared the crap out of me. Did you see the 2 stats that he sent us in the group chat?
Mm-hmm.
The Stars in the last 5 games, their shooting percentage is 5%. 5. That means for like every 20 shots they make, they get 1 goal.
It's not good.
In the game, in the season, I think he said it was 10%? Their shooting percentage is 10%. And then this is something. I'll let you talk for a second because I got another thing I want to talk. Go ahead.
Just so y'all know, Ryan did go to the game tonight, but he's in his car because he knew that was going to happen.
I didn't want to get loud around everybody else, so I was just like, ugh. So,
yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, at some point it comes down to the coaching staff. It's been this long. It's not early season anymore. The season's not early. The coaching staff needs to make an adjustment on the power play. and it needs to be more than just, hey, let's flip these people who are on the power play. I think like Johnston flipped to the Duchesne unit during that 5-minute major. And the other thing is you had a great opportunity to get off of 2 horrible streaks. You haven't come back in a third period all season. And every time the Stars have been down going to the third period, they've lost the game. And your power play has been terrible the past 2 games. Has really cost you the past 2 games. You had a chance to get off of that as well with a 5-minute major that Matt Rimpey was so gracious to gift us. And you don't do either. And like some comments said, I can't find that comment right now, but you didn't look particularly dangerous on the 5-minute power play. And it really didn't. I think Heiskanen being in concussion protocol definitely has something to do with that. But yikes. I mean, hey, Haskinen's not the guy scoring goals on the power play. It's like you said, Ryan, it's the top guys. So it definitely and that's the other thing is it's not one problem. It's not just Rupe Hintz and Robertson aren't scoring. It's not just Steve Spott needs to be fired. All of these things need to be looked at and to be figured out, and stuff needs to change is the main thing. Is like you can't just keep plugging away at it. Nah, we'll get through it. It's okay. Like I thought it wasn't really a great answer, and it might be because he's just like not wanting to give too much away or something. But DeBoer said after the game tonight, when asked about what the power play needs to do, he was like, "Well, they don't have a lot of confidence going over the boards." It's like you're 0 for 10 and then 0 for 11 in the past 2 games, and it cost you those 2 games. You need to have something more than we just need confidence, because 0 for 11 and losing 4 points in it is, I mean, you got to have a better answer than confidence, I think. Again, that's probably not his real answer. He's probably hiding his real answer in his mind right now, but still, it's kind of shocking answer.
Did you happen to see my comment in the group chat?
Which one?
there were quite a few, I guess. Walking down there and walking into the locker room, it was like I put it was negative 10,000 aura. Like I know the term is negative 1,000 aura or whatever, but geez, man, it was so bad. I've seen Jamie Benn really quiet before, but he was dead silent. Like you could barely hear what he was talking about. And again, they were so fast. The media scrum tonight was so quick. It was done probably within 3 or 4 minutes, and it normally takes about 6 to 7, which it doesn't seem like that much amount of time. But for a media scrum, where it lasts half the amount of time that it normally does, you know that the players are pissed off and that something needs to change.
And that's honestly that's a good sign, at least. I mean, the players are recognizing that there's a problem, something has to change, and when you're really worried is when there's not silence like that. So it's a good thing that they're upset. I expect nothing less. This team is led fantastically by Jamie Benn, who I didn't get a chance to mention the last game, but most games by a Dallas Star ever. So he's going to have the right mindset after really a terrible loss like that. So good, I guess, but there's got to be some kind of change. And I think when I'm talking about that, I mean, I talk about the coaching staff. You can't just keep doing what's worked for you in the past. You have to do something different. I mean, go look at the Texas Stars. They've got one of the best power plays in the AHL. Maybe take their system or something. I don't know. Something's got to change.
I don't know what to tell you. I honestly don't know what to tell you. The only thing that I'm thinking of at this point is I hate to say it because just because it shouldn't be that big of a deal for the Stars because they've been able to deal without him in the past. Maybe Joe Pavelski was a bigger deal to this team than we thought. I mean, we knew how important he was, but
at least the power play, yeah.
No, it's not just that though, Chris. The team is a million times different without him on it. It has felt different this year. They haven't played the same way. They're not getting the tips that they need. They're not getting the greasy, dirty, nasty goals that I talked about on Twitter a whole bunch here tonight. I probably said that about 3 or 4 different times, and we didn't see that almost at all. And when you can't score goals, you have to go to the areas where the rebounds are going to happen. You have to get those point shots through, or you just have to crash the net. I mean, even our top players are not getting what they need right now. And the only way to fix that is to go in and just crash the nets. It just plays simple hockey. And because they're trying to get like these just, I don't know, they're just these perimeter shots to try and go in. And that's obviously not working. So and they did more of that later on in the power plays, but it was too late. And again, I'll say it again about the power play and the fact that it looked better as the game went on. But guess what? It doesn't matter if you don't score. It's about the results on the ice. It's great to get the moral victories about the power play looking good and everything like that. The results are not there, and that's why this team is as frustrating as they are right now.
Yeah. About 10 minutes in here, I'll let you pump the brakes. I'll let you go a little bit there, but I'll start reining it back in a little. This team's really not that far away from where they were last season. And this game is not the right time to start talking about this, really, because I understand, and I am fully just as frustrated as all of you are out there on the Starsverse. But this team had probably the worst homestand we could imagine, really, and they went 3-3. Now, they should have really, if you look back at the 3 losses, they should have won all 6. Really, you lost to the worst team in the league, and then you lost to these past 2 games where you outplayed your opponent wildly. But this team is still a fantastic hockey team. They are having insanely bad execution right now. Horrible, like you said, with that shooting percentage stat. That is an anomaly. Absolutely. They still have lots of time to figure it out. It's not early season anymore. You definitely should panic a little bit. The power play has been really bad for a long period of time. That definitely, number one, above anything else, needs to be addressed, and something has to change with it. It can't just be plug away at it. But this team is still a very good hockey team. They're still in position they need to be. We saw what we got last year after having one of the best regular seasons in Dallas Stars history, and what we got was a terrible position in the playoffs. So with the way the playoff system is set up right now, it doesn't matter what seed you get. You have to get in. If the Stars get in and they figure out these problems and we're 3rd in the division, who cares? We'll take it. We just need to get in, and we need to figure out the power play. We need to figure out the execution.
And I appreciate you trying to be positive for me, Chris, but I just can't be right now. I'll pump the brakes a little bit on myself too. That it is December. Like we're talking Christmas time. There's still 50 games to go. But the fact that this consistency issue has been as big a problem as it's been for the Stars, that is something that needs to be majorly concerned about right now.
I wouldn't say it's a consistency issue. They're consistently not scoring. So
it's an offense issue. But that's not true anymore. That's not fully true. It's just they're so unpredictable, this team, and it's so frustrating because we see them. Because I mean, at one point they had like 3 or 4 home games in a row where they had a power play goal, and at points that it was the difference in the game. Like we've seen that, and then they go like 2 or 3 or 4 games where they do really well like that, and then they go like the last 2 like this, and it's just complete and utter crap. And I'm trying to give them props for when they do the things positive on the power play like that. But at 30 games into the season, we shouldn't be talking about something like this. At this point in the season, we should be talking about
good. Right.
Yeah, that is exactly the point. And everyone right now is talking about, the Stars have a chance, and the hype has kind of died a little bit this year compared to last year, just because how good Minnesota and Winnipeg are playing, which I didn't have that on my bingo card, by the way, just a side tangent, but they should not be playing this bad. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't even be 3rd in the division, Chris. They should be up there, like tied for 2nd at the very least.
And I think
you might be saying stuff like, "Oh, well, they're close. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades." Okay, it's not going to do you any good in the playoffs. It's not. And in the playoffs, your power play has to be probably one of your best parts of your game when you get there. Right. And now it's frustrating because it's not.
I think that's a better way to look at it. Where we should be at this point in the season, the Stars are not there. That is an absolutely correct statement to say, no doubting that. Saying it's a bad team, that's definitely an overreaction. They're not where they're supposed to be right now. You can absolutely say that, I think.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to call the Stars a bad team, but are we?
Right. I'm talking the Starsverse here, Ryan.
Yeah, but are we being too homerish here? Because at the beginning of the season, I was all in about this team, thinking they were going to be one of the best teams in the league, and right now they're not. They're
Mm,
getting out. They're getting outplayed by other teams, and they're losing games to teams that they shouldn't be losing to. I mean, they've lost to the Ducks, they've lost to the Predators, they've lost now to the Rangers, who, like I mentioned, the three
yeah,
stats I said earlier.
just as
This
bad as
should
those teams. Yeah.
these are games that you don't want to look at the end of the season and be like, oh, if only, or what if, and just ask the what ifs. What if our power play had scored one goal? Literally, all we needed was one
Yep.
in this game. Could we at least have gotten a point to get the home ice advantage that we truly, truly want? And the thing is, for me, is that this team right now is not a Stanley Cup contender. They're a very good playoff team. That you don't want to be a very good playoff team with the way the team is constructed right now, and the fact that the Stars have been to the Western Conference Final the last 2 years. We haven't gotten past the Western Conference Final. This is why it's so frustrating, Chris. It's like if this team was really good, and they were just on the bubble like last year or something like that, I would be really happy with this year. I'd be like, okay, this is great. They're third in the division. They've kind of solidified themselves there. But the fact is, that's not the expectation for this team, Chris. The team is expected to go to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, if you don't win in the Western Conference Final, it is a done season. It is a terrible season. It is a cut. I don't necessarily want to say cup or bust, but if you don't make the Stanley Cup Final, it is absolutely a losing season.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm so picky with the team right now, and why I want to be so picky with the team, is because these little picky things are gonna get you over the edge when you get to the playoffs. When you get that save for Ottinger in the second period, he was fantastic in the second period.
Second and
After
third period, he was great.
and like in the first period, maybe the first goal he probably wants back, but he kept the Stars in it. He only allowed 2 goals. He did his job. He
Yep.
did his job. And what's even more impressive is that he rebounded.
Yep.
Like I would say
Agreed.
he wasn't like on fire in the first period, but he was tremendously better in the second and the third. And he had answers for Shesterkin. He
Mhm.
did. And Shesterkin, the Stars had no answers on the offensive side. And maybe that, I know I'm talking a lot, I'm sorry, but that's why I'm so frustrated with this. Is the little things like this is what's going to screw the Stars over in the Western Conference Final, whomever they play. Vegas, Winnipeg, Edmonton. God forbid we play Edmonton again. I mean, that's why I'm so frustrated right now.
Yeah, and it's definitely true. The point I'm just trying to make is we just dropped to second best in the league in goals against. We're still second best in the league in goals against. We are having the worst offensive start to the season we could have imagined, and we're in the top half in offense in the league. Absolutely, top half is not where the Stars should be. They should be a cup contender. They should be top 5 in goals for. 100% agree with that.
I don't even
But
want top 5. I just want top 10.
But
And
I'm
that's not
telling you
hard to
is
do.
the Stars are not far from that. They figure this out. They figure out the power play, and they have a mediocre to bad power play, and they're right back where we believe they should be and where they really should be. So I agree. Everyone should be down in the dumps for a little bit, and we should feel sorry for ourselves this weekend because the Stars played really bad. I'm sure the Stars are embarrassed by this game. It's an embarrassing game to lose to a team that's playing that badly and to have that many chances to take the lead and not do it. And I'm sure they felt that way, like you said, how they felt in the media room. Probably the worst feeling they've had all season for after a game. So everything is right. It's going to take figuring it out. They have time to figure it out, and they're really not as far away as it feels like they are tonight. So be angry, absolutely be angry. They're truly, for as bad as you feel, they're not as far away as it seems.
I'm not. You can't convince me otherwise, Chris. But I
That's
appreciate
fine.
it.
I'm not trying to
I
convince you
appreciate it.
tonight.
I don't think any. I don't even think you're gonna convince me tomorrow morning. I mean,
That's fine too. I said weekend. I'll give you the weekend.
you give
I'll
me
send
the
you some
weekend.
stats.
Okay. Let's try to think of something positive here in the game tonight. I know I just ranted just in general about the season, but this game is a culmination of the whole season. It feels like right now, just that they can never get 100% of their full team at all ever. Like we haven't had one game where I've said, okay, the offense was amazing, the power play was pretty good, the defense was great, and the goaltending was great. It seems like there's always something, and it's normally the power play, or the offense that has let us down, and that's the frustrating thing, because this should not be a team that, I mean, when you've got Robe Hands, Wyatt Johnston, Jason Robertson, Jamie Benn, who can still score 20 goals. You got Logan Stankoven and Maverick Bork, who are both incredibly amazing AHL players last year. I mean, you got Miro Heiskanen, who can score goals. Thomas Harley, who had double digits last year. You've also got Evgeny Dodonov, who has probably had the best season this year as a Dallas Star. And he has a shot to get to 20 goals this year. Matt Duchene, Mason Marchment, there are too many players on this team that are not scoring goals right now. And that's the frustrating thing. And now I know, I'll ask you this question. I think it's time for a trade. And I don't think we need a trade to send somebody off like the Rangers did with Trouba and with Kakko, but somebody has to replace Pavelski. And I think we underestimated how important Pavelski was to this team. It doesn't even need to be somebody who can score. It's just somebody who has just been there, done that, like a Joe Pavelski, but maybe can play middle 6 minutes, right? And the other frustrating thing is also, yes, we don't have Tyler Seguin either, but I just don't know what the answer is for this team right now in terms of like what else to do, because something needs to get kicked in the pants here.
Yeah, and it really boils down to offensive execution and power play. Those are the two things the Stars are bad at. Everything else we're doing pretty well. But yeah, I agree. A trade right now, I think, would be the thing that would really shake things up, and hopefully in a good way. But like, you have the space now if you put Seguin on LTIR, which it seems like that's absolutely what's going to happen.
We're gonna have to get there.
But a trade would be a perfect thing to shake it up. And I know that all the insiders are saying Stars want to wait until after the Four Nations face off. That makes sense on paper. If you were in a perfect world, that would be a really good thing to wait for, and to wait until after that, because those players are going to play hard in that tournament. And if you get an injury in that, you're going to want to have some room to replace it. But something's got to change on the power play. I mean, this is just like we mentioned, the Caps game was a great win and a statement win. This is a statement loss. You have to do something about this. And yeah, I don't think management can just sit around and allow the power play to be this horrible for the first half of the season.
Okay, I said I was going to try and be positive, and then I just went on another tangent back to that. Liam Bichsel continues to be pretty good. He had one moment where he got out of position, and Otter kind of bailed his butt out. I thought Maverick Bork has looked okay on that top line, but it's still not producing at the same level that it was with Wyatt Johnston on it.
I really want that to work so badly.
I do. I mean,
it'd be honestly so good for Bork to get going with that line.
Okay, hear me out. Throw Jamie Benn on the top line.
Not a bad idea.
And put Bork with Johnston and Stankoven.
But Ben and Robertson play left wing, and they have for the past 3 seasons.
Jamie Benn can play the right side. I mean,
probably,
he can do it. I mean, something has got to change. And honestly, it's not just, I know we're talking about the power play as well, but it's just in general, the scoring is off.
Yeah, and the first line's getting better, but it's still not close to what their pace has been the past 3 seasons.
Again, moral victories. Victories are not good.
Another little question here.
You don't care.
We mentioned Bichsel just a minute, but Bichsel only 10 minutes time on ice tonight. I'm kind of curious, is that enough where you think he's still developing at a good rate in the NHL, or if Dumba comes to be serviceable again in the future with his injury, Bichsel might get sent down a little bit longer. I think what he's done recently proves he's going to be back for end of year playoffs time frame, but I just don't know if 10 minutes time on ice is enough for a young defenseman like Bischel.
It's not. It's not tonight, but he hasn't normally been playing that little. He's
And
normally
the
been
other
playing
thing,
more.
to argue against myself, there was 17 minutes of power play time tonight, and Bischel doesn't play the power play. So that's probably what the majority of that was.
Yes. I think the biggest thing though for me, Chris, is I'm kind of stealing Sean Shapiro's thought process here. He had a really good article about Liam Bischel and whether he thinks that it would be good for him to develop here or to go back to Cedar Park, back to you. He thinks he should stay here. And that's a big deal coming from Sean Shapiro, because he normally doesn't take a stance like that. Normally he's more the patient type. But the thing is, and it's different with him compared to Harley, because Harley couldn't make any mistakes when Harley came into the lineup the last 6 games of that season a couple years ago. Right now, Liam Bischel can make those mistakes and it be okay, right? Like this is the time to allow him to do that. Now, and the other thing is the Stars are not playing particularly well either, so it's not like they're fighting for their playoff lives at this point either. Although it's getting really scary close
It's
for
starting to
me,
get
I don't
close,
like
yeah.
it. And again, I know we have games in hand on Colorado, but still, you have to win those games in hand, and we didn't win the last 2. So, but honestly, I'm with Sean here in that I think it's better for him to get used to the speed here. I think that's the one thing that you consistently hear about from all the players. It is the game is the exact same. It's the exact same systems. It's the exact same size for the most part. It's just so much faster. And he's not going to learn anything about the speed of the game by going back to Cedar Park. And yeah, he could dominate, but he needs to get used to the speed here, so that and that's my biggest argument for him staying here rather than going back to the Texas Stars.
I wouldn't take as strong a stance as you did. I think there still was lots of stuff he was learning in Cedar Park. I was seeing it firsthand, but I tend to agree he's going to learn more from how NHL players are playing against him than how AHL players are playing against him, I think. So I tend to agree. I think he's going to learn better. It just can't be 10 minutes a night, which I don't think it's going to be either. Like, this is an anomaly because of 17 minutes of power play time, and Bischel's not on the power play up in the NHL. So I really don't think that's going to happen again. But he needs to be around at least 13, 14 minutes a night for him to be developing properly, I think, which is likely going to happen for the remainder of the season.
Well, and the other thing that it's kind of sad that I need to say this, but I think he adds an aspect to the Stars game that they don't have.
Absolutely.
I mean, imagine if he was out there when Rempe took that hit on Miro. I mean, that would have been a monstrosity of 2 humans going after each other.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's something that the Stars don't have. We thought we were going to get that with Dumba and Lyubushkin a little bit, and we haven't really gotten that. Jamie Benn has not had that same snarl to his game, especially this year. I have not seen very much of that from him. But I mean, it's just like that extra push after the whistle. Yeah. Like we're not gonna sit here and take it. You're gonna scoot back and you're gonna respect us, and then we're gonna kill you in however way that may be.
Yeah.
So.
And Bischel quoted in his pregame before his first NHL game. I think the quote was, "Yeah, I guess I do kind of like pissing people off." I mean, so,
but that's
he
what
likes
you
that
need.
Stuff.
That's what you need. And he hasn't done it in the legal way like Matt Rempe did tonight, which I can't believe we talked all this time.
Yeah,
we haven't gotten to that.
I'm going to say this. I like Matt Rempe. I think he's exciting for hockey. He gets us into the headlines and stuff. Man, he makes himself so hard to defend. That's a terrible hit. I mean, that's one of the worst. That's probably the worst hit I've seen all season. It's clearly trying to do one thing, and it's trying to hurt the Stars' best player. He hits Miro Heiskanen from behind and shoves his elbow right into his head. I mean, there's only one thing that he's trying to do there. I don't know if it's going to be suspension worthy, but for a guy that's already has a suspension and has played less than 82 games in the NHL, they're going to look at it at least. But man, I mean, we need excitement in the league. We need celebrity players like Rimpey, but we
Not
need him
that.
to not try and injure people. I mean, that shouldn't be too hard.
Now, to slightly defend him, he is huge, and it is harder for him to make cleaner hits. But the
That's
hits can still be big and be clean.
yes. That's a,
And that
I
is
agree with
that.
you. That's a terrible excuse. It's hard for me to make
I,
clean hits. Is hilarious.
he's literally 2 inches taller than any other player in the NHL.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just.
Yeah. Well,
I
if
mean,
there
we're
was a
talking about
boxer
him
that
on the
was
Stars
5 inches,
podcast.
if there was a boxer that was 5 inches shorter than everybody, is like, man, I'm sorry, it's just so hard for me not to punch you right in the balls. I mean, they're just right there. You know, I mean, that would never fly.
That's why you were laughing so much. Okay, you just had that. Okay, but it's a terrible hit. It's an absolutely
Yeah.
terrible hit. He doesn't even try to stop. I mean, Miro's numbers are facing him.
Yeah, I mean,
His elbow goes straight into his head.
and that's the
It
other
wasn't
hard.
just elbowing; it was boarding on top of that.
That's
It was
the
a
other
check
hard.
from behind.
The other hard spot that Rimpey is put in is like he gets called up and he knows what his job is, and he's trying to do his job. He definitely went overboard with that hit for sure, but I mean, that's what he's called up to do. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was a nasty hit.
And
I think Jamie Benn said, excuse me. Jamie Benn said he hadn't gotten a chance to see a replay of it, but he thought it was a dirty hit. And Rope was also asked about it, and the first thing he wanted to make sure that he saw was that Miro was getting helped, and he saw that Miro was bleeding, and so that.
Yeah.
I mean, props to him for going after Matt Rempe. I would never do that in a million years.
Yeah, I'm 5'9". I'm Stankoven's height. I would not do that. No.
I'm like 5'6". Okay.
Like, hey,
like,
cut that out.
Yeah. Like, hey, no, you stop that. No,
that's not nice.
No. He was talking to you, not me. No, it was him. It wasn't me.
All right.
Okay. All right. We got to wrap it up. Anyways,
yeah.
Biggest winner, biggest loser. Who you got, Chris? I mean, it's pretty obvious, but biggest
loser is the Stars power play. The biggest winner is Igor Shesterkin.
Biggest loser is the Stars power play and just scoring in general. Okay, I think we're at like 2.45 goals per game in the last 6. I think it's something ridiculous. And then for the biggest winner, I guess I'll give it to Oettinger. I'll give it to Oettinger because he really stepped up in the second period when the Rangers had like 3 power plays back to back. I think is what it was. He was very good and he made some ridiculous saves. I actually gasped a couple of times up in the press box. I was just like, oh my goodness, how did he make that save? So okay, Joe Baker, just hit him in the balls, Ryan.
New catchphrase: hit him in the balls.
I would still be terrified. I'd still be terrified of him, but okay, Chris. Anything else?
That sucked.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you all for following along with us here live. There's even more of you afterwards who are listening. I really wish I had a better ending to this compared to what I just watched. And you know what? I'll take full blame for it, Chris, because I actually got late to the game. And they scored the goal before I got in the game. And as soon as I got to the game, then they just lost. So I'm not joking. I contemplated leaving for the third period. I really did. I was just like, maybe it's just me. Thank you to DraftKings and Game Time for being our sponsors. Promo code is THPN. We'd appreciate you using their services. SarcasticRemarks.com is the website. SarcasticRemarksShop.com is the merch store. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, click like and subscribe there. We got over 500 subscribers very recently. That's cool. And across social media at SarcasticCar, you can follow us pretty much anywhere and everywhere. I mean, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everything. So we'd love for you to follow us there, and also join our Discord. That's where we have pictures of cat videos, especially when the Stars are getting blown out from
Yep,
James.
I'm gonna need those cat videos tonight.
We're gonna need a lot of those tonight. Alongside Chris, my name is Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Hope you guys have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. We'll be back with you guys on Monday when the Stars are on the road and they take on the Utah Hockey Club. We'll see you guys later.